Yeah. So hello, everyone. Welcome to
Beautiful
another episode of Eat and Greet for 2016. We're really excited because we are going to be switching things up a bit in 2017. So we really like the format that we've got happening here, Adaire, to be able to actually interview you. So Kirsty and I have been kind of chatting to a few people on a Tuesday lunch for a little while now. It's been going for about like 4 or 5 months, I reckon, these days.
Yep.
And we're really excited because we've known Adaire for a little while now. We've had coffee with Adaire. We've gone to meetup groups with Adaire. Adaire is everywhere. So tell us, who are you?
We're really excited by all the different things that you do, and the fact that you are so open to understanding that multiple income streams is just fabulous. So yeah tell us all about Adaire.
About Adaire, everyone. Well, I guess in terms of the business Adaire, I started off in a not-for-profit, actually having been a very young mum living in the country town. And I thought that all I could do was ever work in the post office there, and I was turned down for that job. So I won't go back that far anyway. But I ended up a late bloomer at uni in my mid-20s. And from there, I went on to work with not-for-profits and doing. I got actually very, very good at grant writing, and that was a conversation that we had recently, because I wrote myself so many jobs in the not-for-profit field, and when it becomes a source of necessity, you actually do get very, very good at it very, very fast.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then after about 4 years of doing that, I thought, because the grants then were for 6 months or 12 months or whatever, and it was like, it just seemed to be all I was doing was looking to write myself my next job, and that was all.
Yeah.
Well, there's not a lot of satisfaction in that, but I ended up working with an international humanitarian organisation, and that was really, really good for giving me a grounding in management structures and learning how to mobilise people, because we're working with volunteers. And
wow, yeah.
My God, if you cut your teeth on a not-for-profit organisation, you can learn to do stuff on a shoestring.
Yeah.
I used to say, because I come from farming Scotland, I used to say that my brothers, my grandfather and my father and my brothers could all make a harvester out of a ball of twine.
Yes.
Because they were so ingenious. And they had to make do with what they had, and I think some of that was sort of like passed down. So working in a not-for-profit where you had basically had no money and dozens and dozens of clients, but also looking to serve and mobilising resources and getting resourceful when there were no resources available. And we always did. We always met the outcomes. We always served the people. We always had things that we just go, it's hopeless, but then we went and did it. So it was just amazing grounding for where I am now, if I look back, because then I ended up in government and still working with volunteers and mobilising or helping then brigades and units from Country Fire Service and State Emergency Service to do things like the management and HR side of things, so that I used to call it the back end of the horse, so it always ran smoothly, so they could use, because people don't sign up to do people management, they sign up to fight fires or rescue people.
Yeah.
And what we found as a management consultant in emergency services was that people would just go, well, they're volunteers, they're here because they're volunteering, therefore they can do what they want. What they want, or that's what the volunteers would go. And we go, well, actually, no, you volunteer to become part of the organisation, but then once you are part of the organisation, there are certain systems and processes and procedures that you must follow. But as a result of that, I actually got very, very good at teaching other people to recruit and growing networks, and also because government is still a bit of a poverty mentality in government. Then we got very resourceful in doing lots and lots of stuff with limited resources, because the resources that we thought were important to put in our area, other people had other agendas for, but it didn't bother us. We just actually went and did it anyway. So I look back and I'm just thinking, when you sent me the questions and go, well, who I am and how I sort of came to be sitting here today doing what I'm doing, it sounds so far of left field to be a hypnotherapist who teaches people how to do social media to get clients. How do you get from...
But it's not, yeah.
Yeah, and you can join the dots backwards.
Yeah.
And so
That's
just
fabulous.
really quickly, as I started with my own, because I got out of government a few years ago because the environment was absolutely so competitive and it's soul destroying. If you are like, there's lots of caring people in government, but it was really toxic environment, and because the budget cuts and there was a whole heap of stuff happening. So I did get out, and I did spend probably about a year curled up under the bed in a fetal position.
Yeah.
Waiting for someone to come and save me, and no bastard turned up, would you believe? So I had to save myself, and that started the journey of sort of personal development and finding different ways of improving my life. Because when I actually was curled up under the bed, you know, I had anxiety, depression, and covered in psoriasis. Doctor diagnosed me with asthma, and I had a really, really bad alcohol problem. So this isn't saying this for pity or anything like that, but I'm just saying that in a few short years, to be able to take control of your life and to be able to realise your own potential and to be able to do what it is that really blows your hair back is what I see you girls doing, and that makes me all gooey because because
Oh, it's just frozen for a second.
Oh, where's Adaire?
and
Oh, yeah, I think she's coming back. Yeah, there you are. You're back.
got Vivid Wireless, which is it's not ADSL and it's not NBN. It's like the 4G network, and sometimes we get some interference and it might drop out.
No, that's all right. That's right.
While we're waiting for the NBN to be connected. Go.
We got up to
Sorry.
Back with excitement. You were excited about what we were doing with Smart Chicks. That's what we got up to before you cut out.
Oh yes, so that's what I get. It blows my hair back when I see people that are able to live to what their heart says, not to what the rules, which is the bullshit rules of society.
Yeah.
So society says you must, you get born, you go to school, you go to uni, you become a doctor, a lawyer, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then you get so much pressure on you, and it just doesn't work.
I think what you're saying is it's so poignant because so many people end up either starting a business or looking at personal development and business as a way to almost have this second life, have some sort of change and know they like you got to the point of almost breaking point where you then had depression and stuff and then got yourself out of it. But people that's happening more and more and more, where people are just going and just not really happy or satisfied and don't know what to do about it. So, there'll be so many of the people that you're speaking to today that can totally relate to, having reached that point. So it's just fabulous to see what you've been able to put together and do and how much you've learned and grown and that over these years. So how many years ago is that now, Adaire?
Well, I left government in 2011.
Yeah, so 5 years ago.
Yeah, so and I really only started doing like stuff for myself. It started with a network marketing company in January last year.
Right.
And then that led on to doing through the meetup groups and growing a network, because it just seems to be a natural thing that I do from the history that I've got.
Yeah.
I can't not
do it. A natural communicator. That's right. Yeah. You're drawn to communicate.
And so then I was offered the training in hypnotherapy in return for some advertising to the network that I had, and I went, free training, I'm in for that, because being in government for years, was actually quite fortunate to get a lot of training that was paid for as part of my PD in government, and then when it came to doing my own and funding my own, I had a bad mindset towards it. It was like my mindset was, seriously, if I expect someone else to pay for my development, and I didn't realise how much of a real bullshit mindset I had towards it, that someone else was responsible for me, my personal development, my professional development. And so this has been a big awakening as well. So when I went to do this training in the hypnotherapy, it was actually hypnotherapy certification, and I did that, and
cool.
I was just not even halfway through it, and I went, oh my God, this shit's awesome, and I love it. And then I realised I was actually really good at it, for whatever reason. And so I came home and I said to Wayne, because he's still entrenched in emergency services at the moment, he's trying to extricate himself, and so there's some exciting stuff on the horizon for him and my son and myself as a family with the whole personal development in this whole sector. But I forgot what I was going there. I was saying that, yes, I did the training.
You said to him.
And I said to Wayne, okay, I'm going to open a hypnotherapy practice, and I'm going to do it in the front room because it was unoccupied at the time. And he just went, are you nuts, woman? You're gonna let, he actually didn't say that, but I know his looks, that twitchy eye look, you go, yeah, okay, I'm going to do it anyway. He's much too polite to actually say it outright. So I actually started with things like donating kilos back to the universe, because I used to be quite overweight myself. I was 140 kilos. I lost half my body weight.
Wow.
And I went, all right, well, I really want to help people with that. I was also a smoker, and 3 weeks after I did the hypnotherapy training, I wasn't even like hypnotized myself to give up smoking, but I just stopped, and I haven't done it again. It's just like all this stuff. It's like magic. It really is like magic. The way it can tap into, if you're open to it, how you can let it affect your life. And it was just, so I started helping people like that, and then it grew. I went into NLP and did the NLP mastery. Husband and son came along to the hypnotherapy because they saw the changes in me, and I didn't really say anything to them, but Wayne sort of lost that nervous twitch in his eye and decided that he wanted some of what I was having. And so he came along, and our then 13-year-old son came along and did the training as well. And by that time, I'd been practicing for a little while and upped the ante to include neuro-linguistic programming, and I've got my master practitioner in NLP as well. So I use that to help people. But what I've found as my skill level and my knowledge increases, because I'm always doing PD. In fact, I was crewing or coaching at a weekend just this last weekend where people were learning the basic hypnotherapy certification. And every time I go back and crew, I learn more, and I help coach people, and it's a constant learning process and refining and honing skills. So and now and our son is now 14. He came back and he helped as well. So he wants to do this stuff in schools, helping kids with poor body image, poor self-image, confidence, bullying. And he's joined the newly formed peer support group in the school, and he's actually going to be approaching the school. He's putting together at the moment a package of content, and he's going to ask the counsellor who runs it if he can run classes or workshops for kids to do this stuff. So it's just gone, boom. It's crazy, but it's exciting at the same time. So just as a little, I won't focus on this today, but just as a little aside to that, what that led to was when I did the hypnotherapy training, and people were saying, how do you get your clients? Because one of the biggest things that people say is, like, I've got all these skills, I've got all this knowledge, but I just don't have people to share it with.
Yeah.
And so then there was one person in particular, his name was Peter, and he did the training with me, and he said, what are you doing? And I said, oh, well, I do, like, I put up things on community notice boards around the place, but I do mostly get clients from my Facebook page. And he went, you what? and I said, yeah. And so he said, oh, can you show me how? And so he'd come over, he'd sit at my dining room table, and once a fortnight, and I'd show him what I did to get clients from my Facebook, using Facebook. That in itself has grown into a full-blown business where I'm running workshops. I've got a member hub. It was supposed to be launched last month, but I've got the platform, and Quartz is great because I know what you guys are like with your member hub stuff, and it's always, you don't ever say how easy can that be, because there's always little twists and turns that you go, okay, here's another challenge. How can I fail forward really fast on this?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Love it, love it. Oh, our favourite words, fail forward and super fast.
I'm failing forward every friggin' day. So there's that, and I've just got some really exciting stuff happening in that space. But what I'm really enjoying is I'm actually connecting with so many wonderful people through Facebook. I've taken the hypnotherapy online, and I'm successfully delivering sessions to people who are looking at doing hypnotherapy, and some are looking for coaching. And I don't do coaching as such, but for people who are in the business world, I seem to be gravitating more towards they're gravitating towards me. So it's law of attraction 101. Seriously,
yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
And what I do, and I have done, is like we call breakthrough sessions. And those breakthrough sessions, so if I could just take you through the one-on-one service, they're both one-on-one, but I guess that you call the basic services are like for smoking and donating kilos, bit of confidence stuff. Those are like, I do a 20-minute, sometimes over the phone, sometimes face-to-face session, just to get a feel for whether the person that who's wanting the service, whether they're going to have a great outcome, because there are some people who are what we call at course for their life, which means that they're taking responsibility for what happens in their lives. Other people are at effect in their lives, and that means that they blame everybody else, and they say, well, it's not my fault, it's so-and-so's fault, or it's the economy, or it's whatever it is. And if I get a sense that people are wanting me to wave a magic wand over them and go, well, are you fixed, or then they don't normally get my service, I'll say I'm probably not the right person for you at this point in time. But those sessions, which are so the smaller sessions, usually go for an hour to an hour and a half. Sometimes with smoking, all we need is like a one session, and that fixes. You know, I've had one client come back and say, well, you know, I've started gone from 30 or 40 a day down to 4, and come back for a top up just to, you know,
cut it all together.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
But the weight loss, we call it donating kilos to the universe, and that's sometimes can be a one session. I usually try and gauge where people are. One thing I don't do is over service, because I believe that people have the capacity to be able to take this stuff on board, and to be able to, like if you're a counsellor or psychologist, or, you know, and I've done counselling, I've done psychology, and I know it's like, let's pick at that wound and see how much pus we can get out. And it's like,
yeah.
Then we're going to stick a whole heap of Band-Aids on top. But with it's like you draw a line in the sand and you help the client move over it and move forward and move towards what they want, not
towards what they want. That's exactly right.
Not from where they came from. So that's really the thing. So it depends on the client as to how much they think they need. So I don't tell them. So I've had people that want to donate kilos to the universe have come for 3 or 4 sessions. Some have come for 1, some have come for 2. But if they're still coming back after 4 sessions, I'm going, you probably want to see a psychologist, because you're obviously wanting to give your money
not ready
and have someone else fix you, and that's not. But but that's rare, because I usually try and get people that really work with people that want to
in the beginning.
The other one that I do is called a breakthrough session. Now, here's where I work with people, small business owners, and it's designed for corporate. And the corporate world, they're really, really intensive sessions. Now, there's usually around an hour to an hour and a half interview. So the whole interview will take the time of a normal session. And then it's it can go anywhere from maybe 5.5 to 7 hours, depending. So this is the actual, and ideally we'll do it in a whole day. So it's a really, have you heard of breakthrough sessions before?
No, apart from what I've seen on the telly where they go, oh, okay, this person needs an intervention or whatever, but I don't know.
It's not an intervention. It's not an intervention.
Okay, so what's a breakthrough session?
Well, a breakthrough session is something where if you're aspiring to go to a level, so you've gotten rid of, there's things that you've done, like you've kicked the smoking, you've lost the weight, you can do maybe public speaking under sufferance, which was what I used to be like. But you know you're not performing at your full potential. You know there's some stuff holding you back. The self-talk isn't at the front of your head. It's sort of like at the back, and it's more in your subconscious than anywhere. And it is something that I use a little bit of hypnotherapy, but mainly NLP techniques. So when you do the NLP in the breakthrough session, so it's a full day, and it usually is, like I said, the people that I find that I'm attracting are very successful business people who are not feeling like that. One of them I was working with someone from Melbourne actually had 2 fitness studios and was in the middle of setting up a 3rd, and was thinking that there was a bit of issue with the flow of her creativity, and thought there was issues with procrastination. And I'm going, yeah. But it was legitimate for her, and so these sort of things that we work together and get things moving. So if there are unconscious blocks or subconscious blocks in our mind that come from, or our bodies that come from limiting beliefs that we're not even aware that we had from either our childhood, or that get passed down through the generations, through history, that it's like I can't think of something at the moment, but it's like that's something. It's like, I guess it's
like the money stuff.
Well, the money stuff, that's a big one. That's a big one. With that poverty mentality can be passed down through generations. Yeah. And that's actually the same, like with the welfare type mentality that can come through generation after generation.
Well, it is, because that's all they've seen and known. They don't even perceive that their life could be different. None of the people around them have anything different. And what they grew up with was, they don't know what different is. They just see these other people.
Yeah, and they might as well be living on another planet, because they don't feel any connection or any affinity or even think that they could be into living a life like them. So those sort of limiting beliefs, and that was an excellent example, that come with us as we grow up, and and if we're not blaming ourselves for having them, if we're not aware of them, then we are self-sabotaging. So once we've done the interview, the hour interview, I'm not finding that at all distracting, Kirsty. Thank you. She's just switched me off. That's okay. Then we can. Then I do a analysis of the interview and work out exactly what the triggers are for people who have the limiting beliefs or negative emotions, because quite often we run on a negative emotion. So it's like if you're a procrastinator and you've going, that's usually born out of things like fear anyway. But when you are, if you're doing that habitually and you're not aware of it, but some people take pride in going, well, I always get my uni assignments in at the last minute, but I know someone, Chris. Of course, you know that, yeah. And then it's like,
isn't it? It's the whole mentality that it's like, I'm so busy and I'm proud of that. I'm so tired and I'm like the most tired mother and I'm so proud of that. It's like
yes.
gravitating towards what you don't want all the time and shielding it as like some positive thing.
Well, it's almost like it's that martyr type thing, and wearing it like a badge of honor. And it actually, because it actually does, if it suits, as much as you don't like it, if it does self-sabotage,
it's gross.
Absolutely. And but we don't know we're doing it when we're doing it.
It's funny because I've been becoming so much more conscious of not saying that or not having it. I've had times where, who was I speaking to the other day, and we were talking about doing something. And he said, it was donating blood and, just going in and donating blood. And they'd commented, I know it's hard to find time, isn't it? It's so busy or whatever. And I said, no, that's not the problem. Like, it's just about literally, no, all I was saying was it's about choosing to do that. And I genuinely am interested to do that. And I haven't done it as yet because I've never prioritized it and never gone, okay, I've got to book in that time and go and do it. But I totally see value in doing it. And I totally, it's not that I'm too busy to do it. I should prioritize it and get in it and do it and book it because I would really like to do that. And they were like, yeah, because they're so used to, they're so accustomed to hearing people say, I'm so busy, I'm too busy, I'm busy. And everything's about priorities. Yeah. It's never that you're too busy because you have time to do what you figure is the most important thing, 100%. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think when people, and Cassie's saying create the time, so and if it is important, and when people say that, look, I'm too busy, or I can't make the time to come to, they read me and they go, can I have a therapy session? And I well, I haven't really got time. And I say, well, it can't be that important to you.
Well, that's exactly right. That's code for not now.
Not now. And I go, well, it's your life.
That's exactly right.
So,
this exact conversation was happening in the Smart Chicks group yesterday. One of the chicks actually asked, she wanted some planning advice or something because she had something coming up in 3 weeks, but she's got lots of children and she was finding that. And it was literally a simple answer of, well, if you want to be prepared for your market, you are going to need to let the house go. And if you're not prepared to let the house go, don't complain about not being prepared for the market. It literally is as simple as that. I remember saying to my sister ages ago, I don't know if you've seen the meme that goes around on Facebook every now and again, if there's a problem and there's an answer to the problem, understand that and just be happy with what the answer is. And if there's no answer to that problem or no solution, understand that and be happy about that situation. We don't need to complain about everything all the time. It's just
acknowledge and
so I think it's a really, really valuable thing to have in terms of the way we see the world.
Absolutely.
And And what comes with that is the ability to not overanalyze absolutely everything that happens. My husband on comments about the fact that I don't get sort of wound up by analysis paralysis. And I actually used to be a yes man when I was working in disability services years ago, because I wanted to help everyone and I felt sorry for everyone and I wanted to be everything to everyone. And as a result, burnt myself out. And these days, I just think life is too short for that. What is the point of getting hung up on something that makes you feel like crap? If you've got an issue with something, tell that person. If you don't have an issue, don't create a reason to have an issue. It literally is as simple as that, guys. It's just like, just be happy. Be happy with what's happening today.
Yeah. Be grateful you've got a glass.
Yes.
I totally agree, Adaire. And if people want to work with you, it's like they just need to decide that that is the priority for them.
Yeah. And I'm not fussed either way, because it's the other thing about that is not being attached to the outcome.
Yeah.
I'm emotionally attached. So I talk to a lot of people who go, sort of, can you fix me? Can you fix me? Can you fix me? Actually, it's funny because in the beginning, I attracted a lot of parents who wanted me to fix their kids. And I'd say, well, you probably could start with fixing yourself. And I didn't like hearing that.
Yeah, or maybe
have you thought there's a connection between you and the kids?
No, it's not my fault. It's the kid. Oh, like Cassie's eking.
Exactly.
But I did take that to be. I just thought it was really interesting how people do think that that being a cause, like we talked about earlier, and taking responsibility for what's happening in your life, and if your kids are shit, whether they're little or whether they're adult kids, then there's got to be some,
something that's not quite right. And look, we all know that there can, I know personally even some amazing parents that kids have, older kids, like in uni years even, have, for whatever reason, either, hung out with some wrong people or whatever, and it definitely isn't a reflection on the parents, because, they had a child that's wonderful and this other child that ended up having other sorts of problems and mental health issues and stuff that was never evident when they were younger. So, but yeah, look, we're very much a product of our society or our social norms and our family situation and what have you. And personally, like, we can personally definitely take so much responsibility for, where our mindset's at.
Well, it could be even as simple as, like you're saying, I had one friend of mine who said that his daughter was a smoker and he wanted me to help make her give up smoking. So it doesn't mean that she's a terrible person, but or he was a bad parent. It's just, so it could be as simple as that. And when I explain, well, actually, if she doesn't want to,
she's got to want to give up.
Then I can't help, because he wanted.
I can't help her.
It's the whole magic potion thing, right, Adaire?
No. It's like, here's my wand. Oh, that's actually
in the movies. People love potions. They'll never say you cannot. Like if you go up to the wizard in the movie and go, "I want that person to love me," they'll never give that potion out, because you can't control other people.
Yeah.
Or yourself. Adaire, I'm really conscious of the fact that these guys are probably hanging out to work out how they can actually work with you. So you have an offer that you've put together for the Smart Chicks members, Secret Squirrel offer, and then another offer for Smart Chicks Coterie.
For the Coterie.
I do. And in actual fact, the hypnotherapy or the breakthrough sessions are something that, like I said, I've been doing these more and more, and I normally charge $1,500 for clients. For their corporates are $3,000, so for personal small business they're $1,500. For Smart Chicks, I'm going to offer a general offer for $1,200.
Wow.
So, and that's that's a full day session. So, and it is, but you just get spat out the other end with all those limiting beliefs and negative emotions. Just
great.
be like an enema for your emotions.
Fabulous.
It's probably a
Fabulous.
bad sales pitch, but anyway. For Smart Chicks, I can do this for $997.
Wow.
Wow.
Yes. And it is, I just know these, oh my God,
So
these
powerful.
work so well. They are, so fast.
Can you give us a like a testimonial or some feedback or something you've had from somebody that's been through one?
I can. There's one on my, there's actually one on my group, let me think. If you go to adairepalmer.com.au, please ignore I'm getting my website done. Let me just see. I might be, can I share it with you and share the screen?
Yes.
Yes, that'd be great. And then read it out for us. That'd be awesome.
It is a video.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, don't do that then. You should be able to share the screen from there.
Well, I've got, I can share
on
the other computer.
that's why I'm looking this way. I've got two screens. I'm not ignoring you.
Adaire, what we'll do is you give me the link.
We'll put the link. Give us the link and we'll put it into the.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Thing.
So
that'd be great.
Yeah.
And all right. So I've got.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll send you. There's testimonials here that are on that video testimonial, and then some written ones. So, all right.
I'd love that because I'd love for the guys to be able to see that.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing, and I'd love to see it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that would be. I'd be more than happy to do that.
Right.
And have you got one or two nuggets that you've learned through your journey that you'd love to pass on to the coterie?
The first one is mindset is everything.
Mm-hmm.
Mindset is everything, because if you haven't got the mindset that's geared towards it, your thinking and your emotions, when all that stuff lines up, it really does start to flow. And it's always working on that ever expanding mindset, so you can take in more and more opportunity. And but I mean, mindset, that's another session on itself. So and the other nugget I would like to give for Smart Chicks is treat everyone, there goes Cassie, treat everyone like they are a client already, not a potential client, not a past client.
I love that.
Every single person like they are already a client. And then that way, and you will get clients that just come in and use a bit of your service and leave. You get clients that come in and add value to what you're doing and hang around. You get clients that just come in and grab the free stuff and then piss off.
But that's okay.
That's totally okay. And then you get
I love that.
And then you get clients who you actually develop really good bonds with, and you become good friends. And you become maybe joint venture partners, or so you treat everyone like a client and no one will get hurt. So
fantastic. Love it, love it, love it. Love your work, Adaire. So thrilled to have you as part of the community.
No worries. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'm going to stop the recording.